combined, and they're like attacking policemen.
Oh, I should.
Oh, sorry.
Like,
Hi. Welcome to episode 14 of Profit Talk. Dusty and I were like, what's happening with Baltimore? And Deb was telling us what's going on in Baltimore.
Yeah,
we know nothing of the current event.
Like the world could blow up, and I wouldn't.
I'm sorry, I thought you heard me.
Don't watch the news.
Yeah, the news makes me sad. That explains. Somebody posted a video today about Baltimore. Some guy, it was like the caption was white Baltimore man tells that, I don't remember. It was basically the way that, like, the gist of it was some white guy from Baltimore is getting real about the whole thing, and I was like, okay, I don't know what that means. So that explains it. I did not know that. Sabina. Okay, so tonight, y'all are already talking about bacon.
They've been talking about bacon for 10 minutes.
And I'm responding to it, because last night at Walmart, I was going through, like, checking out, because they do the yellow markdown grocery stuff. So I go through, like, they had lunch meat markdown, still had 7 days left on the expiration or whatever. They had Jimmy Dean's rolled sausage, and it was Bacon Lovers. And I sent my wife a picture, and I'm like, yes or no, because she eats pork sausage. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of turkey sausage person. She's like, that sounds like instant diarrhea. I was like, okay, I'll take that as a pass. It was like ground pork sausage with bacon mixed in.
H-E-B, which is like our grocery store here, like our major chain, came out like, I don't know, about 6 months ago with bacon meal, like blueberry or whatever, where they had bacon.
It's kind of like baconated bacon. I mean, bacon is pork, so how do you make pork sausage porkier? Like, how do you pork up pork sausage?
Is Jeff Davidson in the audience? Because I still have...
No, Jeff doesn't love us anymore.
I still have the bacon syrup that I got from him, 2 bottles of it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But
Jeff quit loving us. It makes me sad.
Where is Wade? There's Wade! I was about to go, where's Wade? And there's Wade! I was going to put out a...
Wade,
where's Wade?
I know, right?
We need to make some
Wade.
signs.
Deb and I were talking about you today because we were in a hangout, and I said, I love Wade. And Deb goes, I do too. So we had a Wade love-in today.
Wade didn't even know. He totally missed out.
Wade was unaware of our Wade love-in.
He's like, why are my ears ringing? Why are my ears?
It's like there's awesome people speaking of me somewhere. I don't know what they're saying, but I can feel their awesomeness. That was us. So we're talking about customers, and not in a complainy way. Tonight we're positive.
Yep.
But we're talking about all those customer-related issues. You see it all the time in the groups. You know, somebody posts an issue they're having with a customer, wanting advice for how to handle it. You know, or, you know, what should I do kind of thing. You see it, you know, daily. So, I think Dusty, wasn't it your idea?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we've all kind of covered all the shows, and we covered kind of the same topics and blah, 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 and it's something that you see come up in forums, and you see come up in groups, and, you know, the right way to, not necessarily the right way, but I guess for me, I'd like to share what's worked for me. You know, as far as what's worked to diffuse customers when you have issues, how to handle problems, you know, what I feel is the right way and the wrong way. You know, there is no right and wrong. Ultimately, you have to decide for yourself. Let me preface that. But there is definitely some wrong ways, I guess. But
I want to talk about preventative customer issues, like trying to do all you can to actually prevent anything before it even starts.
I think that would be a good place to start.
Go, Deb.
Oh, okay, hang on. Let me turn off my light so I don't look like I'm, like, on a sound stage. Okay. So, what I do with my customers, because I was very proactive when the defect rating system came around, because I think I started out with defects at like 1.9 when they released it. And it's not because I'm a bad seller, and it's not because I get lots of INADs or returns or anything like that, but it was like some historical cancellations and stuff like that that shouldn't have counted and stuff. But I went on like high octane, let's prevent issues. And so what I started doing was I printed up these little cards, and I put them in all of my shipments, and there's a coupon on one side, and there's my contact information on the other side.
I don't get 10% off your stuff.
Well, you never bought anything. And then I try to make the customers feel special, so I printed up these labels on address labels, and they're little stickers, and that's the way I seal all of my, like, I need to do my nails. It's the way I seal all of my tissue paper and stuff, is with these little labels that say, we love our customers, thank you for your business. And then I print my packing slips, and on one side it'll be what they ordered, and then on the other side it has like question answer things. It says, do you need to make a return? And it tells them how to do it, and it tells them to say that they don't want it, and it tells them if they do that they will get a free return shipping label, postage paid.
Ooh,
and and then it also has an 800 number, and it has the coupon code again, and all that other stuff on how to get in touch with me. And I have gotten phone calls of people that couldn't figure out how to use their item, and essentially that would have been a problem customer. That would have been a return for me. It would have been an INAD. They would have said it didn't work. But instead, I spent 10 minutes on the phone telling them how to use it, and then they're all happy and went on with their day. So it's been really good. It's preventative. When I first started doing seller paid returns, I do seller paid returns. Everybody told me, like, there was this huge list of people that said my business was going to fail, that I was welcoming returns, and customers were going to abuse the system, and I was basically dooming my business, you know. I still don't get any more returns than I normally do. I average, I think, 2 or 3 a year. It hasn't gone up at all for my returns. And another thing I started doing was I go into my shipping labels section of eBay, and I just scroll through. I just do it like once a week, and I'll scroll through and check just what the update information says. I look out for the ones that say label created, meaning they didn't scan it. Where did it go? You know, I look for those, and I also look for ones that are like a week old and they're still not showing delivered. And sometimes it's just because the system hasn't updated, but sometimes it's you can see on there that something happened, and you can contact the customer and let them know, hey, you know, I was paying attention to your package and noticed that it's been hung up in such and such for 2 days, and I just wanted to let you know it's on the way and it's supposed to be there, and you know, give it a couple more days or whatever. That's very preventative. That prevents you from getting the defects for the, you know, where's my item? That kind of stuff. I think customers appreciate it. I don't have a lot of problem customers. I don't have a lot of bad feedback. I don't get a lot of returns. I don't have a lot of in general. You would think with a business like I have, which is parts, which has a lot of people that just, oh, that look like that's going to fit. You know, like it's not the model, but I don't have a lot of problems, and I think it has a lot to do with just trying to prevent them before they even start.
So now
and
that Deb has made us, now that Deb's made us all look horrid as sellers, I'm going to log off and let her continue.
You know what also helps? Hang on, I gotta show these because I haven't shown you guys. It's pretty mailers. Look, they're purple and they got hearts on them and flowers. Anyway, I'm all proud of my little pretty purple and flowery pink and blue mailers.
I still can't believe that you got that you got the mailers. Oh, what did I do? Or that you got the different colored, you know, the funky.
Yeah.
Like, I hit a button, and now I keep it's like messing up everything.
Ooh, you like your color of your camera is like everything's purple and disco light and.
I didn't mean to do it. What was it on before?
Now you look like that blueberry kid from the Chocolate Factory.
I don't know what I did.
It's fine. Just leave it.
It won't fix. That looks normal, right?
No, I like those ideas.
No, that looks purple.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't do a whole lot proactive. I probably should. I do use a packing slip. I probably could amend my automatic packing slip with eBay to have all that stuff on there so that when I printed it, it's already included, because I'm already using the piece of paper anyhow. My packing slip basically says, thank you for your purchase.
I do put... Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I was like, what I wanted to do was, when they released the defect ratings and stuff, and people were all freaking out, I wasn't being freak out mode. I was being, okay, well, what can I do, for my business to stop this? Like, I can't control what eBay does. I can only control what I have control over, which was getting an 800 number, plastering it 3 different times on, 3 different communication levels, and offering my email. And I couldn't change eBay. I could just change the way I did my business.
My defects are bad. I mean, I say bad. They're barely over 2%. It's been that way for 3 months, but mine are bad, which I'll probably do like what you did.
Did we just lose video?
What?
I'm here. You've been glitchy.
Do we have video?
You were glitching earlier. We're still live.
Okay. Suggested videos for me. There we go. Oh. I'm back. Sorry.
But my recent defects and what's been killing me is, and I can't figure out what's causing it, all of our packages here in our town go to the nearest main town 100 miles away because they closed the postal sorting facility here. And about 1 out of 10 of my first-class packages, when they hit that sorting facility that night 100 miles away, they stop and they don't go anywhere. So I get cases open. Is she freezing again? I get cases open for where is my item, and I look back and it's like been 6 days, and I'm like, well, yeah, I'd be asking too. Wish you hadn't opened a case. But I'm kind of taking to heart what Deb said about going through and glancing at that stuff. I don't want to babysit my packages, and I don't think you should. But at the same time, I think I could, until I figure out what's going on, because I've talked to the postmaster here, postmistress, and I griped and complained, and short of calling the Birmingham facility and figuring, so what the crap's going on? Why do these keep getting lost and sit there for 3 or 4 days? That's what's killing me on it. And I'm getting defects because, and the customers aren't mad. The last one that happened was going to Puerto Rico, and it was a couple little pins. It was $5.99 total with free shipping. It's like a feedback builder item, which kind of backfired because instead of making it to Puerto Rico, it's been stuck in Birmingham for 7 days. So I simply responded with, and I kind of go, this is how I work with customers. I go overboard with like gushing with apologies and kind of the kill them with kindness, like my mom used to say. And I say, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I completely understand your disappointment. I've had this ongoing issue. It's not your fault. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Let me see if I can knock them loose. If not, I'll drop a couple more of them in the mail to you. But rest assured, I mean, it's a $6 item. I said, rest assured, when it does show delivered, I'm going to give you a full refund. And will I probably get a defect, I guess, for a refund? I don't know how that works now. Yeah, probably. But at least I'll, probably not get a negative feedback and can hopefully turn a negative situation into a positive. And there's a lot of people that wouldn't, would say, don't refund. Well, I mean, I'm going to refund. It's something tiny like that.
And we were talking. They're talking in the chat about the paper I made. That I didn't make that per se. It's something that's inside of eBay. If you go into your shipping section, like when you're bulk printing labels, it's one of the options, a store promotional flyer, and you can just make it within eBay. This is not something I did like in Publisher or Word or anything.
Did you write all the paragraphs though that are on there?
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you. Well, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like anything I created, like as far as on Word. It's just
And I do, like on my packing slips, sometimes I'll reach over and grab a ballpoint pen, especially if it's somebody that's made a significant purchase, and I'll reach over with the ballpoint pen and write thanks and a little exclamation point and a smiley face, and just to kind of personalize the packing slip. It's to where they kind of realize they're dealing with a person. It kind of makes it a little more personal and not just a big.
I do that too. Because I want them to know I'm a person. So I write their name. I have metallic Sharpies that I have, and I write their name, like their first name, and then thank you and enjoy, or just thank you, depending on what it is. I mean, they're not going to enjoy
enjoy your coffee
filter. If it's shoes or things like yeah, if it's shoes or stuff like that, I'll write enjoy.
When I did eBay for 5 minutes.
Sometimes if it's a coffee cup, I'll draw a little coffee.
For 5 minutes.
I wrote a note. Like I did, I put I just printed the packing slip, and I highlighted certain things because like the little blurb on the packing slip, I said, if you have an issue, do the, contact other, blah, blah, blah. And I highlighted those things. And then, I put their name and, I hope you enjoy this, or, like Deb was just saying, I wrote some little blurb thing, and then it was like, I put, thank you so much, and then I signed my name.
And then she crafted them a card.
Totes did. Pop-up card. Boom. Little guy pops up and says, thank you. But I think I don't know, I think personalizing things like that makes it, like you said, it makes people realize that you're a person and not some corporation that they expect perfection from. I think things like that do matter. And like you were saying, preventative measures, I think it starts, there. And I still like purpley red. I don't know why. I stopped clicking buttons. I don't know. I don't know what happens. It could just be the light. I don't know.
It's fine. It did something funky, and your exposure changed like 15 different ways, and then it went.
Well, yeah. I accidentally hit how you can do smooth, enhanced, focus, warm, whatever choices in the Hangout.
Right.
And I don't know what I originally had it on. This was the one that looked the most normal to me. But I accidentally clicked there because there's nothing there if you're just unless you move the mouse and in that one exact spot. And then I was like, oh, what's that? And I clicked it, and all hell just broke loose. It all went wrong. So I don't know. So what do you do when you do get a trouble-causing customer? You have somebody complaining that this is not item not as described on eBay. What do you do?
Me personally, and it goes back again, I used to take every return or every issue or every whatever, I would immediately get defensive. If you get defensive, you're going to put your customer in the defensive, which they kind of probably already are, because most buyers...
Well, they're expecting you to be... They're not expecting you to work with them.
Right. They're not expecting you to be Amazon, which bends over backwards and goes, oh my gosh, we're so sorry, we're going to refund the whole order, keep it. You know, which is kind of one extreme. But they're going to kind of expect you because, unfortunately, there are a lot of sellers, and I went through that. We talked about that on the morning show this morning with a problem I had that was a legitimate concern. The powder that I ordered for a drink mix arrived and it was exploded all over the inside of the box, and I even sent him pictures before I removed it from the box, and he immediately gets defensive. So that's, unfortunately, there are sellers like that set your buyer to automatically be defensive. And I'll go back to what I said again. I had to get to that point, and for probably the first few years, I was automatically defensive. Oh my gosh, because that's my money, and they're trying to scam me and whatever. And when I realized, no, they're not trying to scam me, and if I'll just learn to eat those few returns, and kill them with kindness, like I said, you can diffuse that situation instead of coming across as defensive. Just be, seriously, it sounds really cheesy and corny, but be overly gushy. I am sorry. I'll apologize 3 times in an email reply. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry once again. Thank you so much for your patience and understanding. If you say that kind of psychologically, it kind of helps them be patient and understanding is what I found. If you just kind of diffuse it with, with apologies and things like that, then they can't. 99 out of 100 people can't stay mad, if you've been overly nice.
I think there's only been one customer that I ever had that was actually, like, angry. And he was angry because I had sent the wrong coffee cup. I had, like, switched labels. And fortunately, they were both going internationally, but they went to the same country. And he was, like, so livid over this coffee cup to the point that I just, because I had already gotten it where it was going to get resolved and this was going to happen. And I was like, I had to just, like, I wrote out and reminded him, I'm like, I am just a person. Like, I'm a human being. I'm not a major corporation. I didn't say that, but I was like, I had to just remind him. What I said was I made a very human error and put the wrong label on your box. I'm very sorry. But it's getting resolved and you'll have your cup and it'll all be great. And he left me positive feedback when it was all over with. Man, he was pissed about that coffee cup. You would think it was...
I had, like, a mega irate lady last week or the week before on Amazon. She was pissed. But she had a right to be. She had ordered a 6-pack of eyeliner. And Amazon, somehow, my 6-pack turned into a 1-pack. And they only shipped her one of the eyeliner that she ordered. So she paid $10 for a Wet n Wild eyeliner that costs 99 cents at Walgreens. She was angry. She left, like, bad seller feedback. She was all but, like, F-bombing.
Oh, my biggest, both on eBay and Amazon, my biggest butthole customers, so to speak, that are hard to diffuse are always on under $10 items.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, I had a return on a $900 item a couple of weeks ago. The guy was awesome about it. He was totally great about it. I mean, did it suck that they sucked $900 out of my PayPal account and I got the item back and had to figure out what was going on with it and try to resell it? Yeah, it totally sucked, but I just kept my cool and and he was great about it. He was like, I understand. I totally understand. He was awesome. It's the guy with the $5.99 item that is always the problem.
That is true. It is the small ones that I don't know, and I don't know why. It's like, why are you having a heart attack over? I mean, I understand it didn't work out the way that it should have, and it wasn't right. Which I told her. I said, I'm refunding. I refunded her through Amazon. I told her to keep the thing. I told Amazon, hey, I told her to keep the one. This is what happened. I don't know how you guys lost 5 out of a pack that I'm surprised if she could even get into the 6-pack. I had it wrapped up so much, It had my stickers on it and everything. And, of course, Amazon was like, oh, that's our fault. Feedback's removed. You did the right thing. That, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, please don't, I mean, I was trying to placate her as much as I could, I was like, I'm trying to find out what happened to see if, the other 5 are on their way or, placate her, but she wouldn't even answer me. She wouldn't answer any of the messages that I sent her. She didn't even answer Amazon because, like, on Amazon, when they strike out your feedback, they offer you get the chance as a customer, you're offered another chance to leave feedback if you feel like, if you want, if you feel that you need to kind of redo, the feedback that you left a seller, you get one more chance. She didn't even respond to that, so I hope that did not cause, like, an Amazon.
And in all honesty, the way to get, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to anyhow, and the way to get around that on Amazon, if you get enough, if you're selling enough on Amazon that'll roll off that negative, wait a couple months to try to get that removed or to get them to strike through it or to do whatever to where it's late enough that they don't have the chance to leave feedback again. Because they can only leave.
Well, I didn't think that she would. I didn't think she would leave bad feedback because she'd been refunded. She was told to keep the stuff. Amazon sent her a message saying this was totally our fault that this happened. Because it was a 6-pack that they shipped one. And they when I was talking to Seller Central, they said we've already sent the following email and it's it's, you know, it's that kind of form letter that says this, you know, you had an issue with one of our sellers. It was completely our fault, Amazon's fault, you know, and they took responsibility for it. So I didn't think that she would leave bad feedback anyways. It just made me feel, you know, I felt terrible. I was like, oh my God, you know, this chick paid $10 and ended up with one freaking brown eyeliner, you know.
For only one eye.
I know, I felt awful.
Ray said, don't start off by saying, I'm sorry, but. He said that in the chat. And that's a really good point. That's actually something I learned in counseling, marriage counseling years ago, because everybody needs to go to marriage counseling. Don't wait till your car's broken down to change your oil. But yeah, actually, I had and it was a psychologist tell me that, and they say, when you say I'm sorry, but, people only hear everything after but. So if you're gonna start off when you write your customer by saying, I'm really sorry for your inconvenience, whatever, don't say but, just, you know, be gushy or whatever, and then just go straight into, you know, I would like to make this right. I understand how you feel. Empathize with them. Don't make it all I didn't mean to do this. I.
Mm-hmm.
You know, empathize with them. Apologize. You know, you can. It's not hard to diffuse situations. Apologize. Empathize with them. You know, tell them. People want to hear that. They just want to know that you understand how disappointed they are.
Exactly, and that's a great way to start off any you know, kind of response to a feedback is, I'm so sorry this has happened to you. I can understand how frustrating that would be.
Exactly.
You know, you need to tell them that's all they want to hear, to be honest. 99% of people that are mad about something or are unhappy with your service or your goods or whatever, all they want to know is you're hearing them. You're getting what has frustrated them. You understand what went wrong, and they just want you to tell them that. You know, that's the big thing. They think that you don't care, and that they're automatically, you know, pumped and ready to fight because they think they're going to have to fight you to make this right. And if you come in and say, I am so sorry this happened to you, I understand how frustrated you must be, you know, then it kind of takes the wind out of their sails, you know, and it's kind of like, I mean, just imagine if, you know, you were mad at somebody, you know, you're all pumped, you're ready to like throw blows and stuff, you know, and somebody's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, that does have to be frustrating. You're kind of just going to be like, oh, well, yes, I am frustrated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Ray said, you assume the total responsibility to the situation. New York Hustle had a question. Rudy said, how do you guys react to bad feedback left?
I have only had one negative and 2 neutrals. The one neutral, I responded to the feedback because I didn't know she had an issue until she left the neutral. Basically saying that the item stopped working. And that was when I changed my return policy from 14 days to 30, because she was at, like, I don't know, 3 weeks in after her order, and basically said, oh, it was working fine, and then, you know, stopped working, and it was a used item. And so basically I just went in and refunded her money. She didn't ask, but I refunded her money. And because I would have done that if it was like a 30-day policy instead of a 14. And then I replied to the feedback saying, like, you know, refunded in full, no customer contact, you know, we value our customers or something like that. And then I had a neutral from a seller because her item got held up at one of the post offices on the way to her house. I didn't say anything. That really pissed me off. So how I react in my house is I get really upset about it, actually, for a minute. Like, I get really upset about it for a minute because it's easy to work with as a seller, that it frustrates the crap out of me when they don't just say something. You know, because I'll fix it. You know, like, I will totally fix it. I will give you your money back. I will fix it. But Yeah, so I get angry for about a minute or so, and it bothers me, but I don't get a lot of bad feedback, so
I mean,
I don't get a lot.
it'll happen. I mean, it happens.
First and foremost, I would say, like Deb said, you get angry. Your initial knee-jerk reaction. Don't respond to a feedback the same day. Sleep on it.
I wait.
Like, don't. That's common sense with like any situation. Don't react right then, because you're gonna probably regret what you say later. And secondly, and I see this a lot, don't respond with your side of the story. You can respond with like Deb said. You can respond with like Deb said, where you say, "Hey, refunded the customer and made all right. You know, would have loved to have made this up. Can you contact us?" or something like that. But don't say refunded customer wouldn't listen, whatever. I mean, that stays permanently on your feedback. And yeah, I do, when I order something, I do read feedback to see the buyer, or the seller rather, to see how they handle, and I look at the negatives to see how they handle the situation. If they've got a lot of stuff where they've put their response to the negative and it's been argumentative, that right there tells me this is not somebody I want to buy from, because if I have a problem with that order, they're going to be a butt about it.
They're on the defensive already.
And
you know, and I'm like that. I get questions about things, and I'm just like, oh, this is going to be trouble. And my first, reaction is to respond, fairly not nice. I have to wait. I have to wait until the next day. And it was like when I posted in the 1500 room about that customer that was asking me about the Super Soaker gun. You know what? We have transferred back and forth about 10 different messages. He's not buying my gun, but he's like, "You are the most awesome seller ever. If I find something that you have that I want, I will buy from you." But like, my initial reaction to that customer was like, "Oh, this guy's a douche," and I waited until the next day, and then I wrote out my response, and it turned out great. It could have turned out really bad. I could have been ugly, like I could have been.
Paul Resale Ronan said, if you ship a customer a package and it shows up broken, it was the post office's fault. And I know he's being sarcastic. And I mean, I hate to say it.
Actually, I don't think he is.
Is he not? Are you being sarcastic, Paul? Oh, crap. Can we rewind that?
He's saying, because him and Ray were saying that rule number 1 in sales or something like that is that you don't say sorry, because that, I guess that implies that you did something wrong or you're taking responsibility for it or something. Mm-hmm. So I think I have not tuned you guys out. So he was saying, that if a package gets broken, then he would deflect. That's what you're saying, right, Paul? That you would deflect it like that? After you sell something and you leave feedback for the buyer. Oh, God, no, I don't ask for feedback.
No. I don't leave feedback until they get their stuff anyway.
I have it set up, or I think it's off right now, but I had it set up for auto feedback. You leave me feedback, you get it. The only exception I'll make is if I get that occasional request that says, "Hey, would you leave me feedback?" And I'm like, okay, I'll look at the thing, see if it got delivered. I'll kind of examine the situation. But okay, so I totally misread Paul's thing. Yeah,
you did. He was serious. He said he was totally being serious. He said, "I know how to ship a package. So if it gets broken, it's the post office's fault."
Yeah, but I see a lot of.
Sorry.
But on the flip side, I see a lot of people that don't know how to ship packages. I saw that in an example in a group the other day, and they're like, "Well, I shipped this." I'm not gonna say what it was because that person will probably be in the audience. That'll be my luck. But I shipped this breakable item, and here's how I packaged it. And I was like, "Whoa." I can tell you right now that probably didn't make it okay because it was inadequate packaging. I mean, I have no doubt that Paul's done it enough, and he ships video game systems and everything else, and those are tough to wrap, and you really have to do a lot of protection. But I think there are a lot of people that automatically assume from posts that I've seen that, well, I shipped it and they broke it. Well, did you put 3 inches of packaging all the way around? Because that's what UPS says. That's what the post office wants to see. You don't automatically assume unless you are absolutely sure of really, seriously? That's what she said, inadequate packaging? Really?
You're supposed to read it.
I totally lost my train of thought. So anyhow, Paul, I'm not bashing on. I know Paul knows how to wrap his stuff because he's done this for years. But yeah, I
do understand what he's talking about. I mean, I do.
Derail that train, Danica.
Well, you weren't supposed to be like focus.
All right, let me go back.
I do. If the person, like on eBay, if the person paid immediately or, within a reasonable amount of time, if the person paid, that's what they're supposed to do as a seller. I mean, as a buyer. I would leave them their feedback, because if they leave me feedback, like if there's an issue and they say it in the feedback, then I would think that you would use the respond to feedback, you know what I mean, to say if there was some kind of issue or something. I don't know. I don't withhold feedback, until you give me feedback. I think that's silly. I think that's silly when sellers do that.
I wait
you leave feedback.
No, I wait to leave feedback for a couple weeks. I do that because I want the person to get their package first. And secondly, I do that because it reminds them to leave me feedback. Because I left them feedback, and then they'll notice that their little star moved and go look and go, oh, and then go leave feedback. I get a lot of feedback about 2 to 3 weeks after they got their item, and I think that's why. Because, I don't know, I also don't want to leave feedback saying, great customer, and they're a total dick. So I just wait. Like I wait until they get their item, and I leave them in bulk like twice a month, and I just go through, and my stored feedback is paid promptly, hassle-free transaction, highly recommended eBayer or whatever.
They say you can look at my past feedback for people that bought from me, and it says paid promptly, thanks so much. Boom.
Somebody said, Alvin Smith says, so you don't leave feedback until you get feedback. I leave feedback after I get the item packaged. And then Queen City Picker said, I leave feedback as soon as they complete the deal. They have completed their part of the deal. No, they haven't really completed.
No, that's wrong.
They haven't really completed their part of the deal because they may have an issue with the package, and they may be the biggest nightmare buyer you've ever had in your entire life. So in my mind, the deal is not completed. It's not necessarily one part of the deal has been completed versus another. It's the entire transaction is completed and everybody's happy. And as bad as this sounds, I think there's a lot of buyers out there that probably still think that on eBay that sellers can still leave negative feedback. So if I can if on the off chance that that's their mentality and they still think that, then I'm going to just hang out there and leave it set up on auto feedback in hopes that, if they do have an issue, they'll work with me rather than leave me negative feedback, because in their mind they think I can leave them negative, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Vintage Hunter is asking about hassle-free returns. I've had hassle-free returns since it started. I wanted hassle-free returns because I don't like messing with people and their partial refunds that they want. Hassle-free returns, you either return it or you don't get your money back. I'm not giving you partial money back, so you can pretend like you had a problem. I don't charge them for return shipping because they had asked further up about, well, what about hassle-free returns and them faking an INAD? Well, I don't have that issue because I do seller-paid returns because I don't want fake INADs. They're gonna get their shipping back anyway. Why bother? Why get upset about it? Just take the return. So I do seller-paid returns. I don't get that many. If I did clothing, specifically women's clothing, I was in women's fancy shoes that are really hard to fit, I might have a different, perception on it because that's just kind of a high returns industry type category. But for what I do, my returns are my returns, and so I do seller-paid returns, hassle-free. I don't get INADs at all unless it actually is one, but I don't really have any recently.
Somebody, Swamp Picker, asked, how many feedbacks do you get on the amount of packages you send? I have 137 of 401 packages sent out. I have no clue on eBay. I've never paid attention to it, but I do know for Amazon, the typical is somewhere between 5 and 10%, being closer to 5%. Feedback is.
I have 13, and I've sold
I actually average 6% on Amazon. It was a higher percent years ago when I started on Amazon. Now it's more down to 5%, but as an overall over 8 years of Amazon, it's about 6%. It's a dead system on Amazon. It doesn't mean, and that's why you really have to be careful with how you handle buyers on Amazon, because if you
start out negative.
Yeah, if you just start out and you sell 100 items on Amazon, you are probably on average going to get 5 to 7, let's say 6. You're going to get 6 feedback for that 100 of them. If you screw up and you get a negative out of that first 100 transactions, that's, let's say on 6, that's going to put you at 85% feedback. I know it's not fair, but you have to be really careful. Yep.
I have an actual number. Okay, so total on eBay since I started, I've had 1,651 transactions.
How do you know that?
And I have 900. So
you have 9 what?
960 in feedback.
How do you know your transactions?
Out of 1,000, it's on your dashboard. Out of 1,651 transactions, I have 960 feedback.
Are those all selling transactions? Like you don't? Does that put buying and selling together?
Where's your lifetime?
Let me see.
I've had, well, that's on my account that I'm using right now. I've had out of 7,004 transactions, I've had 43
seller. Feedback as a seller is 925. I don't buy a lot of stuff on eBay. So 925 feedback as a seller out of.
I'm at 60% on eBay.
Out of.
Yeah, I'm at like right about 60% also.
Huh. Which is really interesting that Amazon, and I think a lot of that, we can get into all that, that's a whole nother show, but eBay sends feedback reminders. eBay is more of a feedback-oriented community. Amazon doesn't really, it's not a thing. It's just,
on Amazon, though, you don't, there is no, like the only place that you're going to see to leave feedback for the seller is if you go into your order history.
It's hard to find.
And scroll through and look for it. Well, now it's easier to leave feedback for the seller than it is to leave a review on the item, but that's the only place that you get to leave feedback for the seller, is if you go into your order history and look at the items that you've ordered. And then it's one of the like 6 or 7 buttons on the right-hand side, for each one. One of them is leave feedback for seller.
Oh, it's hard. I'll tell you what else is hard to find. Go into, like, if you placed a recent order on Amazon, go in there and try to figure out how to contact the person.
Oh, yeah.
Contact the buyer, or the seller, rather. And it's like, I mean, their whole system's jacked up, and I think they're aware of it, and they're slowly making changes, but they really ultimately don't care.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here looking at mine now. Like, I can't figure. I just recently ordered an oven element when ours went out in our oven, and I've got where's my package. I can request a refund or a replacement. There's no spot in there. Leave seller feedback. I see that. Write a product review. I see nothing to contact that person. Of course, that was an FBA item. That might be why, because they kind of discourage contact with sellers with FBA.
Somebody had a question that we didn't get, and I don't remember what it was. Like we didn't get it yet. Blah. I'm sorry.
I think
chat went too far.
I think Roberta pointed out that she said maybe I'm doing it wrong. I'm only getting 20%. 20% doesn't feel very good when I leave 100%. And I think earlier she said maybe I need to rethink how I'm doing it. She said I'm leaving it. I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but she has an immediate feedback policy. Yeah, that's. I mean, to me, leaving feedback way after the transaction or when they've already left it for you, that's kind of a reminder to them to, hey, go back and leave feedback. If you do it right after they buy the item, before they've even received it, there's not going to be any further reminders, I don't think. Does that make sense?
I think they get one at the 4-week mark or something like that.
Right.
Because I get reminders for stuff that I buy that I didn't leave feedback for. Yeah, I think they do send out one. I think it's like 4 weeks after their purchase or something like that. But I ignore those. I don't like getting those emails. Like, I leave feedback eventually, but I only leave feedback if I'm really happy.
I've got all that crap turned off, though, somehow. I don't get reminders to leave feedback for purchases on eBay.
I think that if I had, I mean, you guys know that I don't do much eBay, so I think that if I did more and had experience with bad buyers there, then I think that I would probably, because I understand what you guys are saying about leaving feedback later. You know what I mean? Like, I just leave it immediately because I haven't had any trouble with them.
But you might, and I'm not leaving excellent eBayer for Senorita Asshat.
But you don't do eBay, Violet.
You know what?
Swamp, we're going to call you Violet from now on.
Bite me.
Swamp Picker said, I have a question. Ever had a customer never return the item even with a problem? Yes, I have had it on both Amazon and eBay both, and you're on pins and needles until you reach that 30-day mark or 45-day mark, or, my God, I think on eBay now with PayPal returns, it's like 6 months or whatever it is. I mean, yeah, you're kind of on pins and needles. I had a lady do that with some face cream, and she bought like 7 of them at $25 a piece. It was like $150. She's like, these are old, these are rotten, whatever. They've never been this color when I open them up, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I've sold probably 40 of these before you ever came along. I've never had a problem. You can return them for a full refund. I am so sorry that you're not happy with them. Never heard from her again. Apparently she changed her mind.
I'm a horrible returner. Like, when I returned my phone to Amazon, it sat on the bar in my kitchen for, had to have been like 3 weeks before I even, and it like everything was all right there. Like, it was like there was an envelope under it and the box, and then like the label was sitting there, and all I had to do was put it together and give it to UPS. And it took me forever to return it. I have some phone cases I was going to return. I opened up a return and didn't even like print the label out. They're still like just in there. I'm like, all right, well, I guess these are mine now. Like, I have a return for JCPenney's that's been in the trunk of my car for like 3 months. I'm like a bad returner. I'm like, I don't want to go in the store and take this back.
Deb's like, oh, I gotta go there? No.
I gotta get out of the car. I don't want to do that.
Amazon, I'll return stuff only because they make it really, really simple. If there's a problem with the item, you click a button, they give you a prepaid label.
Oh, yeah.
UPS label, and I'm already going to UPS 4 out of 5 days anyhow to drop packages off, and I just throw it in there and I'm done with it.
I totally will. I do return things to Amazon, but I very rarely return things because I'm just like, whatever. I'll donate it to somebody. I'm trying to, if you must know, get my lamp turned on so that maybe we can, like, defeat the purple.
I just was reading Queen City Picker's comment.
What?
Queen City Picker says, I had a customer leave negative feedback because the vibrator didn't work. I don't sell vibrators. It took an act of God to get eBay to remove it with the buyer trying to get it removed. I bet the buyer was going, oh my God, I didn't mean to leave that.
How embarrassing.
I am very unsatisfied with this vibrator.
That's awesome.
Right? So that vibrator that you sold me.
It's hilarious.
Ma'am, I don't sell vibrators. Or sir, I don't sell vibrators. I don't know who you're selling it. Sir. I'm sorry, Bruce. I didn't know.
I didn't know, and Paul, let me rephrase. I didn't say I've sold 40 of these. I actually said, yeah, I've sold I've sold several of these units. I've sold multiples of these units to several buyers over the last few months, and I haven't had any problems at all.
You're
You're
the
the first
only
I've heard
person
of.
that's an idiot.
If there's a product, product issue, I felt like I would have heard by it. I may have to go back and find it and read it. I was a little. Oh, that's much better.
Is that better?
Yes. Now you're pink Danica instead of purple Danica.
You will like it.
Did you try the whole put your hand over your camera and then take it off and let it try to refocus or whatever and readjust the iris or whatever they call that crap?
What?
No.
This?
Yay!
Nighttime? Daytime! So, okay, I have a complaint as a no, it doesn't have anything to do with, I'll tell you later. I think that the gist of good customer service and taking...
I have something to talk about.
What?
Hang on.
Okay.
We're not just yet. Hang
No,
on.
have mercy. Well, it wasn't ended.
I forgot about it because I've had people ask about this. They ask about what you do when you send the customer the wrong things. So if you switched them or if you just totally sent them the wrong thing. So, I don't know if a lot of people know, but USPS has a redirect system in place. It does cost, they raised the price, it costs $11.50 to redirect a package, but essentially if it hasn't been delivered to your customer yet, it totally prevents having to have a return done or getting bad feedback or any of that other stuff. You can go in and redirect the package to the proper address if you sent it to the wrong person, or you could even just redirect it back to yourself if you have the correct item and you're going to send it to them and just let them know. I normally have made a mistake. I normally offer some kind of a discount. If I've sent it to the wrong people, I'll print labels for them and have them send it to each other if I can, and what I'll try to do to get them to do that is let them know as soon as I see that it's been dropped off at the post office, I'll give you half of your money back, or I'll give you whatever it is. Whatever you think is going to appease that person to make them comply. But yeah, about the redirect thing on USPS, I know a lot of people don't know about that.
Oh, Ronnie Hart just got
So you can do it for FedEx. Yeah, you can do it for FedEx and you can do it for UPS, but the post office, you can also do it, but it costs you money, but at least you can do it. That's it. So that's the gist of the show. No, I'm just kidding.
That's it. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
No. But I honestly, I think the big thing that I want everybody to take away from this whole thing tonight was, number one, be proactive.
I like that. That was awesome.
That, I think, is fantastic. Now, on Amazon, you really can't be proactive.
No.
Your proactive part on Amazon is making sure that you have everything prepped.
Listed.
The way that it should be listed correctly. Make sure that you've got your condition correct. If you don't know your conditions, you really need to learn your conditions. I think that's the best thing that you can do to be proactive on Amazon. But eBay, I love Deb's idea of sucking up before they even know if the thing works or not. You've already got the suck up started. And that's pretty much what you're doing. You need to suck up, you need to kiss some booty, to take care of it, because and like we were saying, let them know that you can understand that they're frustrated, that you hear what it is that they're saying, you understand what it is that they're saying. Don't go on the defensive. There's no need for you to be defensive. Something happened. Your only job is to fix it.
Everybody just wants to feel like they're valued.
Yeah.
And so, if you can make somebody feel like they're valued, whether it's, being preventative and doing extra things for the customer, or doing something after the fact, they just want to feel valued.
Mm-hmm.
And normally, really angry, cranky people need to feel valued the most.
People just want to be heard. That's pretty much what it all boils down to. They want to be heard. Yeah, validation.
and my mom preached that when I was a kid. You know, there's a couple things she used to preach. You know, she used to say, you know, make sure you're the only Bible that some people ever, you know, remember you're the only Bible that some people may ever read. That's from a religious standpoint. And then the other thing she would always say is, you know, kill people with kindness. And I would always laugh at both of them. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. And you know, the kill people with kindness really genuinely makes sense. I mean, I'm telling you, I got to a point, I don't know, maybe in the mid 2000s after doing eBay for several years. It's like any other job. You know, here's what I do. Here's a good example. You know, I was reading a post today. People were talking about my mailman's an old grouchy mailman. You know, you work for the federal government or for the post office, whatever, for 20 years. You become a little calloused. You become a little grouchy. And somewhere in the mid 2000s, I found myself like responding to every single customer issue automatically with like venom. And I had to really stop and take a break from everything and do a check and be like, you know what? All it's doing is getting my blood pressure up. It's not solving anything. If they take it to eBay or they take it to Amazon, they're going to win. I can either learn to let these things roll off my back, kill them with kindness. I mean, if you take nothing else away from me tonight, please listen. That actually does work.
Yeah,
you know,
because you're only gonna lose if you get angry about it. Like, you've already lost, and then you're gonna lose like 3 more times on the exact same issue.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, like with Amazon, if it goes to an A claim, you think they're not going to go back and read all that where you called them a scammer and told them to go check with their neighbors because they were lying that they didn't get the package or what? I mean, I've seen so many things, issues over, you know, in the responses, typical responses that people have. And it's just, if you learn to just be super gushy sweet, which will feel so abnormal to what our natural reaction is as humans, just kill them with kindness, and you'd be amazed at how, you know, if you find yourself in a spot now where you're like, I used to be when I was at that point, and you try it and see if it works. And Danica,
I can't help it. I'm like, I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning.
Oh, I didn't know if you were yawning or laughing.
No, I was yawning.
My mom always said, pretty is as pretty does. My mom never said that one, though.
Pretty is as pretty does?
That sounds like, is that a Southern thing?
It sounds like it. Most Southern sayings don't make sense, so it probably is.
If all else fails, send them a Google Earth screenshot of their house. Brian, I'm going to have to go ahead and give you your shout-out because you've been trolling all night long. I love
Brian
you.
has been a great troll, along with Paul.
He's been a very amusing troll, so it's been awesome.
He has. You guys have trolled well. We appreciate it. And Rudy, I give you permission to do the napkin with the lipstick as the thank you in all of your eBay packages that you send out. Rudy asked if that was appropriate.
The Opium spray, or maybe some Britney.
Oh, yeah.
But it's amazing, though, when you learn to let go of that knee-jerk reaction like Deb was talking about, and you just respond back, whatever else. Instead of going to bed angry, building your stress level up, you know, giving yourself high blood pressure, waking up mad about it in the morning, if you just say, hey, I am so sorry, you know, I'll do whatever I can do to make it right, and you go to bed in peace. And it's really worth every dime of whatever product you may possibly lose.
Well, but think about how you would want, you know, if you had that issue that person says that they have, whether you fully believe them or not, if you had that issue as the customer, you know, how would you want to be spoken to? Would you want to be, you know, would you want somebody that, like, bites your head off and, oh, you know, you're just trying to get money out of me, blah, 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 blah. You know that's not what you would like to have, so, you know, give what you would like to get.
I think I have only argued with one person on a return in an actual place, and I literally looked at them and was like, why are you acting like this? Is it coming out of your pocket? Because if it's coming out of your pocket, I will leave right now. But if it's not, and it's coming out of that register, you need to give me my return.
Give me my damn money.
I've only had a problem like one time, but that's the thing, that you'd never forget that. You don't forget that really crappy, horrible service you got somewhere.
Exactly. That's not what I want people to remember from a transaction with me. You know,
No.
I don't want that. Oh, good. See, Rudy's going to use it. He's going to use the lipstick. Nice. He did the butt cheek prints. I thoroughly like Paul's return emails. I think that is a completely legit way to handle your correspondence with your customers. Screw you, asshole.
Yeah.
Da 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 da.
It was look, bitch. I thought that's the way you were supposed to.
Oh, yeah. That also is acceptable. So now that you've got the Profit Talk opinion on how to handle your customer.
Oh, we should totally make little monitor magnets that go next to your computer that say "Look, bitch," and they got Profit Talk.
Right?
You know, and if
what would Profit Talk do?
If there's anybody out there that has, you know, you're on the fence on how to deal with something, I mean, honestly, shoot me a private message on Facebook. I will do my best to help you. You know how Dusty now would handle it versus Dusty 10 years ago would handle it. I mean, yeah, I don't mind helping somebody out and telling you, hey, here's how I personally would. I mean, I hope I don't get my inbox flooded right now, but problems. But first and foremost, fill me in on the entire story. Fill me in and cut and paste everything that happens so I can have the whole story. I mean, I don't mind telling you what I would do. I mean, whether or not it works, I mean, I can't guarantee that, but that's why I'm here. I want to.
Dusty likes to helping people.
If you want like a troll answer, you can message me with the same information.
Yeah, and if you want to know how to do it all wrong, contact Brian. Here's his phone number.
True.
Yeah. 555.
I'll give you Brian's number. If you message me, I'll give you Brian's number, and you can call him.
You can text him at 2 a.m. He's totally good with it.
That sounds great. Okay, do you guys have any parting words of wisdom?
Bye.
I don't know if we have words of wisdom. It's like, bye, y'all. I got to go. I got pictures to take. I hope that Paul has those copyrighted, Deb.
He has Look Bitch copyrighted?
And Listen Here, Bitch.
Oh, I could put a little disclaimer on the back. Look Bitch is the property of Resell Ronan and Reseller Wake Up.
He says you can get with him. He'll discuss the fee for using his copyrighted material. But in all seriousness, I hope it did help somebody, there's just been so much talk lately, and constantly, I guess, about, this horrid customer this and horrid customer that, and, it's just so much complaining and negative, coming across, and I know you need to vent sometimes, and I know not every customer complaint is legitimate. I understand that, but it is a part of your business, and if you want to be in this reselling business, you need to get used to it, and you need to learn how to respond, how to react, and how to act, the whole proactive thing. You really need to, you need to compose yourself, and then act like a professional, because that's what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be a professional. You're not, a hobby seller or whatever. If you're a hobby seller, you still need to act like a professional. So that's my 2 cents.
Don't take that one bad customer that you've had in the last 3 months, or and totally make it wreck your business. I hate seeing somebody's response to a really crappy customer and them being changed. They'll change their entire business process.
Yeah.
They'll start doing restocking fees, or no returns, or no this and that, or I'm going to put this paragraph in my description now that says, no douches allowed to buy my items, or whatever. They'll change their entire business model, and for this one thing. I think that 1 out of every 100 customers is going to be crazy, and if you've got less than that, you're doing awesome. My dogs are losing their minds.
They are. I hear that. Okay, so
treat your customer like, I know people get so been out of shape. I know that if you go read the Amazon seller forums for any period of time, it's just full of people griping about how Amazon kisses ass and Amazon gives their customer whatever they want and whatever else. You know what? They've also done really good for themselves to be a no-name little company that started out of Jeff Bezos' garage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've obviously done something right. Ultimately, probably one of the best things I ever did for my business was switch from eBay or start doing Amazon once I had already been doing eBay for a few years, because I learned how to train my mindset to treat customers a lot differently than what I was used to treating them. Does it feel kiss-assy? Does it feel awkward?
Sure
Does
it
it feel
does.
weird? Yeah, at first it really does. But in the end, it works. I mean, they've figured out Amazon. They're not perfect, but they have figured out what it takes to keep the customer happy, what it takes to keep the customer coming back, what it takes to ultimately end up, whether they screw up or not, with a happy customer.
Yep. And that's what you want. In the end, that's what you want. You want a happy customer, because a happy customer may turn into a return customer. So there you go. So we appreciate you guys watching tonight. We hope this helped somebody out there. We do actually do the show to help, believe it or not. We do.
Oh, I've been doing it all wrong all this time.
See, Deb didn't know.
We'll have to start on episode 15 of,
We'll do that next week. We'll be helpful. If there's any problems that you guys need, if there's anything you want us to talk about or whatever, just put it in the Profit Talk or message one of us and say, hey, could you guys discuss this? And we'll be happy to try to help you out with that. So have a good night. We'll see you Wednesday morning for the Reseller Wake Up. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.
Bye.